Alrighty. Well, welcome everybody. Christian Taylor, head of the open source office here at Intersect. Once again, we're doing a project spotlight video. I know what y'all are thinking, where's Tex? He's somewhere doing work. I'm filling in for today. But I also wanted to do today because I get to help highlight one of my good old buddies, Sheldon. How you doing, man?
Oh, I am splendid. And you know what? I wouldn't want to be here with anybody else. So
Oh, cool. Thank you.
too.
Ah. Well, I know you've been all over the space recently, doing a lot of development work. Why don't you catch us up to speed with what you got going on?
Yeah, I'm a man about town. I am a man about town. So for anybody who doesn't know who I am, my name is Sheldon Hunt. I am, as of 2 weeks ago, a lone agent. I am the founder and CEO of Sundial. But to kind of take a pause and provide a little bit of context, before that, it was at Emergo as the head of the Cardano ecosystem. And before that, with this fine gentleman over at Intersect, helping out with membership and business, and I've been with IOG before. So I've been in the ecosystem for years and years. And so, yeah, it's only fitting that I stick around and take things up to the next level.
Cool. Well, and I think you've been in crypto for a long time altogether, right?
Yes, yes. In and out, because, highs and lows. And yeah, been in the crypto space since 2013, which is kind of wild. It would have been nice if I just, hit my head, forgot about the Bitcoin, and then just woke up to it now. But
Well, then, other than the opportunity with IOG, why were you interested in Cardano of all things? Because Bitcoin over, I know there's like a different methodology and kind of ideology with it, right?
oh, yes, yes. Well, so I was originally involved in like the Bitcoin meetups in Hong Kong when I was living out there and working there, and got involved early days in the beginning of Ethereum with Vitalik. And yeah, it was really cool. Kind of like I was pitched the whole idea, like smart contracts and what could be done. And it took a little while to kind of like wrap our heads around it. And even like talking to Vitalik, some of like the early kind of pitches on what could be done is just about like gambling and keeping track of things, which is kind of cool. But it became so much bigger pretty quickly. But one of the things that was always like very interesting for me, at least with Cardano, was some of the, I guess you could say like the spiritual successor of some elements of Bitcoin, but just with smart contract capability. Having like a fixed supply was super cool. Later on, of course, it wasn't early on, but the staking experience is still, in my opinion, like best in class. It's still like exceptional, and it's wonderful. But before that, the main draw was just kind of like the ethos, right? Like doing crypto for good and having like a blockchain for the people of the world. And yeah, it still speaks to a lot of people and motivates people to get up and build cool things. And so a big part of that initial pitch appealed to me.
Cool. Well, you've already kind of teased the carrot right there already, which is like you got the past with Bitcoin, you got the philosophy of Cardano, the potentials of Vitalik, with what smart contracts can do. Why don't you inform us of what Sundial is a part of now, and even why? I have to know personally, what does the name Sundial mean? How'd you come up with it?
Yeah, yes, there is a meaning to it, which sounds kind of ridiculous, but well, okay, well, I'll go with the meaning first. Because the idea of Sundial, and it will kind of explain also what it is. So Sundial is a layer 2 for Cardano, and one of the first. And so working with Phil and the guys at Anastasia Labs using the Midgard tech stack, and so it's a whole like jibble jabble. If you know what that means, awesome. But essentially, it's like an optimistic rollup similar to L2s you see on Ethereum, but we're doing it tailor-made and custom for Cardano. And the name kind of came to me in the sense that like the whole purpose of this L2 is to tap into Bitcoin, to kind of go back to our kind of like genesis. And we can imagine Bitcoin as the sun, right? It is the provider of light and energy. It's all wonderful and life-giving, but it's not always particularly useful, right? Just like in real life, it's a source of speculation. It's a hard asset, but it doesn't do much beyond that. The whole idea with a sundial is now you give sunlight function. It now has an ability to affect your life. And that was kind of the idea. And yeah, it's a little bit romantic. It's a little bit silly. I should have dropped maybe some letters and syllables to be like in with like the Web3 tech crowd, but I liked the idea of like also like an old timey sundial.
No, you're good. Just a poem or two, and that could be your about section.
There you go. See, I'm a simple man, and you get it. Just a little bit romantic. Poem here and there.
Well,
Like,
with that, because essentially, I could even see Sundial potentially building something similar to a solar panel to harness that Bitcoin energy, right?
whoa, whoa, the analogies. Yes, potentially. There's a lot that can be baked into it. So
Cool.
and
Well, and so y'all won the Fun 13 to help get this started, right?
yeah, we won it. Came out number one, baby.
Well,
Well, huge
that's
credit
cool.
to. I don't want to come off too aggressive, but no, like the Cardano community was like absolutely huge in this. They really showed up in an enormous way, and I will be forever in their debt. And so owe it to Cardano to make this an enormous success, because we've got an opportunity to, take the integrations that we've talked about for a long time of multi-chain success to the next level. And the big thing is, is Bitcoin. So if we get Bitcoin and Cardano together in a meaningful way, game changer, baby. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I usually have to be a neutral arbiter, but this is one I was absolutely cheering for, just because of the capabilities that it's going to bring to the ecosystem. Which, with that, what can we expect on your roadmap from here on? How
Yes.
are y'all going about the work, etc.?
Yeah, well, so it's a great question, and it's something that is top of mind right now because I am going through the milestone process for Project Catalyst, and so laying out the next like 6 milestones. And going from 0 to 1 is the most exciting, but it's also the most stressful. And trying to sync things that can be like clearly identified as like, oh yeah, that's a milestone accomplished. Boom, move on to the next one. So right now, my early concerns are getting everything lined up for long-term success. And so that means putting in the time, the effort, the resources for incorporations, for tokenomics, for the underlying tech. And this takes a while, and it's not cheap. If anybody who has played around in this space knows, certainly we've come a long way, and a lot of the tooling has gotten a lot better, and there's a lot more stuff that's open source, and things are not what they used to be, which is a wonderful thing, but it's still going to be a quite long, drawn-out process. So yeah, so some of my early milestones that I'm working on right now: company incorporation here in Singapore. Got to find a way to legally stay here, get everything lined up. Tokenomics, that will take a while because we want to make sure that this is something that doesn't need to be rejigged after the fact, because you break everything like that. So
Yeah.
and then long-term partnerships. So now engaging with the Bitcoin community, ordinals, runes, and others to kind of, hey, come take a look over here at Cardano. We're doing some cool stuff. And then also preparing those in Cardano to, prepare to reach out and work with those on the Bitcoin side of things. So the plan ultimately is in 9 months to be in test nets. It might take a little bit longer. It might be even shorter. Don't know. I will likely need to do some external fundraising for this because it is kind of ambitious. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So, that's another thing top of mind. Need to kind of get out into the world, shake some hands, and tell everybody the gospel of Cardano plus Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's one of the most ambitious, but I think one of the highest yielding in rewards. And I think it deserves everyone's attention to it and support in any way you can. As Mr. Hunt's on the hunt.
Yes, I'm on the hunt, and I very much appreciate all of the support that I've gotten from everybody. And I'm hoping to utilize this for other beneficial things in Cardano. And I didn't want to overpack my Catalyst proposal and complicate things, but I'm hoping to utilize Sundial as an opportunity to engage with others in the wider Web3 crypto space that haven't historically engaged with Cardano. So as many people know, I've been playing around and pushing for stablecoin adoption in Cardano for a long time. Face some resistance there, but I'm hoping that with Sundial, I can start new conversations with new partners to get them in on a ground level and see the appeal of what this means. And so, hopefully we'll get some new major players in the back door through Sundial into the rest of Cardano. So a little bit mischievous of me, but I think it'll be a big win for everyone.
Yeah, well, that kind of hit my next question, which is outside of this big project, what were the other aspirations you're wanting to do? But I think you just kind of highlighted that.
Yeah, well, like that's the idea. And I know like for many of us who have been in Cardano for a while, right? When you have like those big chain days where you got lots of mints happening, there's also going to need to be like some scaling solutions because like look, like book.io or stuff.io, they want to have like multi-million mints going for new like music tracks or comic books, all kinds like multimedia. We're going to need to really optimize the chain for some speed here and some scalability. And layer 2 is the way to do it. And if we can make it work with Sundial, hell yeah, it'll be splendid.
Awesome. Well, switching gears a little bit, because of your plethora of experience, Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little bit. What advice do you have for anyone wanting to come onto the space, pioneer? What are your lessons learned? Kind of open-ended question, tailor it how you like. But
well, it's a good question. It's a good question, and it's actually one that's a little bit hard to answer because, unfortunately, the space moves so fast. It is very much like a rushing river. Like you don't ever go back to the same river twice. It's the same thing with crypto. The amount of things that are rushing through, be it liquidity, narratives, teams, and interests, it's insane. So what was good advice maybe 3 years ago or now 10 years ago won't be good advice now. But I would hope anybody who's kind of curious and interested in getting into Web3, start humbly, begin kind of where you think you could best augment some of the skills that you currently have. Maybe you studied journalism or English literature. Maybe think about how you could look to get involved on maybe a community level as it relates to newsletters or kind of communication, community management, things like that, and apply yourself entry levels and see what you can do. There's all kinds of like new projects that are starting all the time. And so maybe your aspiration is to go work for Intersect, go join you there, Christian. Maybe a good way to do that is to go and first start work and be perhaps like an intern or get into the trenches with some community projects, learn the ropes and the terminology, and then you just come in with a nice skill set and some tooling around what are the pros and the cons of a particular ecosystem and how to augment that. And again, there's nothing wrong with being like a fanboy or a fangirl. Join Discords and just stay plugged in.
cool. Well, is there any other items you want to mention? If not, we can wrap her up.
Oh man. Well, yeah. So just for like the wider Cardano community kind of tuning in. Well, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to these guys, follow along for more of this stuff. But just want to kind of a bit of a rah-rah. Like, thank you all.
Well, how can people get in touch with you? Failed to mention that. That's like goal number one, right?
Well, I would say like the best way is still probably on X. It's where like so much of the community goes to get revved up. And so, yeah, you can find me. I am at _Mr. Hunt _. You can just look up Sheldon Hunt there. And yeah, you can find me there. Shoot me a message anytime. Always have open comms. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if you're old school like me, they can find you on LinkedIn too.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely correct. LinkedIn also works. I'm not on it as actively as X, of course, right? You got to prioritize, but certainly have an account there. And Sundial does have now a company account there too. So give it a follow as well. And yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, like you're saying, if you're not on X and Cardano, you're irrelevant, kind of. So
well, that's harsh, but you're not wrong.
It's true. I've learned it the hard way.
It's pretty true.
If you want to talk to Web 2 people, go to LinkedIn. But yeah, it was great to have you. I just wanted to give you this chance to talk about it. This is really exciting stuff. And feel free to, if you want to follow our channel for more project spotlights like this, please give it us a like and a follow. I feel like one of those scammy YouTubers, but you need it to build. And it was a pleasure to have you, Sheldon. Always been a pleasure to work with you. And just good to see where your journey goes.
Well, thank you so much, Christian. Great to be here. I look to come back in a few weeks or a few months, right?
Yep.
If I get invited back, of course. But
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and if you do want to catch Sheldon, commercialization working group, he's an active part of that. And now
Yeah.
that he's a builder on Cardano, we'll probably see a lot more of him around. But
Yes.
good to see you
Yes.
all there.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.